let's talk about this next one. And should Texas schedule hard out of conference games? And I bring this up because, unfortunately, I was actually very excited for this game. Tennessee and Nebraska canceled their series. They will no longer be doing that, which I think is a disservice to college football fans in general. It sucks to see stuff like that happen, but we live in a new world now. And what is your opinion on that, Gerald? Should Texas schedule hard out of conference games?
I think there's a couple of reasons why I say yes. One, like, college football is all about marquee matchups, right? Like, in the spirit of college football, the helmet games, the seeing Texas and Ohio State playing week 1, right? Like, those things are why college football is fun, why we have these historic matchups. The games that go down in the annals of college football history are generally between big brands playing each other, like Texas and Ohio State, which generally turn out to be hard games. I mean, that's like the soft, like, touchy-feely reason why I think Texas should. But I think from a practical standpoint, you saw this year that the College Football Playoff Committee values big wins more than they take into account losses. Where when you're scheduling a hard or even not even a hard, but like a big brand out of conference game and you win it, that almost gives you a mulligan during conference play, where especially in the SEC, where it's going to be a grind and they're probably going to go to 9 games in the next couple of years. Like, you're going to have a week where it's just Vandy jumps up and gets you, or you lose to an Ole Miss team on the road, or whatever it might be, right? Tennessee, whoever it might be, right? There are going to be those times where you go out and you get bit because it's the SEC and it is what it is. And so having those hard out-of-conference games, those big out-of-conference games, and winning them is something that the College Football Playoff Committee has proven time and time again that they're going to reward, right? Alabama didn't have that this year, so they didn't get their mulligan, right? Then that means that they had a smaller margin. You have more margin to make it into the 12 or what eventually will probably be a 14 or 16 team field if you have a marquee non-conference game and you can get a win. So, like, from a practical standpoint, the selection committee and the criteria that they use seemingly weights big non-conference wins more than they do losses. So that's something to keep in your back pocket as well. So you can serve both masters there, right? Because college football is made for these kind of matchups and to bolster your resume, to get yourself the wins that you need on your schedule. To, again, the SEC is a hard conference to play in, and football is a physical, violent game. And there are games where you just don't have it, where you get hit and things don't go the way you want them to. So I think for about 1,001 reasons, right? Those two big ones, keep scheduling them.
Well, I mean, the first one, Chris Del Conte came out and said, like, we're Texas, we want to play the best teams possible. And I completely agree with that. Like, at some point, guys, these sports exist to serve fans. That's the only reason they exist. That is the first reason. If there are no fans, sports would not exist, period. So if you start alienating fans by saying, you know what, we're just going to have cream puff schedule, you're never going to get to see any teams or good teams come to Austin, or we get to go to Columbus, then it's not going to work out. And the sport will die eventually. And it's going to suck. Like, if you look at Texas's home schedule this year, it's not good at all. I think the best home game, luckily, is Texas A&M. After that, it's not that good. I think it's Arkansas. So 2 rivalry games saved the schedule. But other than that, it's a really, really bad home schedule. I think it's a pretty good schedule overall. I mean, you're going to Gainesville, you're going to Athens, you're going to Columbus. And I appreciate that Texas has scheduled hard. Like, in the past, under Sark, we've gone to Alabama. We've gone to Arkansas. We've gone to Michigan. We're going to Ohio State. Ohio State will be coming here. Then Michigan will be coming here. And then Notre Dame will be coming here. And then we go to Notre Dame. That's it. It's going to be very interesting when that 2030 spot, what they do with that, because that is open. So that will tell me everything I need to know. I don't think they're going to cancel any big games. I don't think they're going to cancel the Ohio State game. They're not going to cancel the Michigan game. But could they stop scheduling them? I think that is a possibility. I would hate that if they do. I love when we play teams like classic matchups. Like, it's cool to see Notre Dame with those gold helmets versus Texas with their burnt orange. It's going to be really cool to see Texas with their icy whites versus Ohio State at the Horseshoe. That's going to be a hell of a football game to watch, just aesthetically, honestly. And then two big-time football programs. So I completely agree with you. I do not want to cancel these games. I think they're important for the sport as a whole. And I think they're just, like I said, it's an entertainment product at the end of the day, and they're very entertaining. And then also, guys, if we didn't schedule Alabama, we wouldn't have made the college football playoff a couple years ago when we lost to Washington. Florida State would have jumped us even with George and Travis out. Like, if you put Sam Houston State instead of Alabama there, and we win that football game. And we're
Yep.
11-1. Guess what? Florida State's getting in, period. So that saved us from getting left out of the college football playoff that one year. You know, you got to play the risk reward game. Sometimes there probably is a little bit too much risk scheduling a decent out of conference opponent, but you're also going to get rewarded from that more times than not, in my opinion.
100%. I think you're absolutely right because, again, based on the selection criteria and what the selection committee has done for multiple years now, like they are rewarding teams that play these difficult non-conference games. Even if you lose these non-conference games, they're rewarding you for the product. They're rewarding you for, because again, the College Football Playoff Committee is in it to make money too, right? So they want good TV products, and the good TV products on the front end of the season bear fruit in the end of the season for teams and for the College Football Playoff Committee. Because, oh yeah, I saw Texas play Ohio State week 1. I'm going to tune in for their College Football Playoff first round game in Austin, right? Those things pay. And so again, for multiple reasons, it's a financial reason, it is a pageantry reason what college football is made about, and ultimately a competitive reason as well. Like there's no reason to not play these games.
100%. I think Texas will continue to do it as long as CDC is here and as long as Sark is here. Sark it was funny. He got interviewed by Cowherd though, and he was like, "Yeah, you're playing Ohio State week 1." He's like, "Yeah, I don't know if I love that." So he may not. I don't know if it's the week 1 part or Ohio State. It may be more the week 1 because it usually is a week 2 or week 3 thing. You know, so you can have a tune-up game before you go to Columbus, maybe.
Yeah, week 1 is the big red flag. I prefer that week 2 for sure. Go place, like, blow somebody off the field week 1 and then play your tough game week 2. That is my strong preference there.
Yeah, I agree with that part. This is usually it's not like this either. Like if this is a big game like that, it's usually a neutral site game. There's very few times a team like starts out the regular season in a hostile environment that's like a non-rivalry type game. Like I know Miami went down to Florida, but that's a rivalry type game. Ohio State and Texas really isn't a rivalry.
I on that note, though, I remember it was probably 2 years ago, I think, when the Backyard Brawl was the first game of the season. And, like, I was, like, humming the entire week. I was like, we get college football on a Thursday night. It's a Backyard Brawl, and it's going to be insane. And the game turned out to not be that good, but it was still, like, it's the hype, man. It is part of what makes college football fun.
No, 100%. That is the main thing that makes college football different from the NFL. That's why like people like it. The pageantry,
100%.
The cool matchups, the atmospheres are just better. So I completely agree with that. And we're on the same page. We don't think Texas should not stop scheduling out of conference games that are hard.